Good morning, Lagos. It's trends in the papers on Mail 98.3 FM, of course. Morning Express. The sound of Lagos. I am Mᴏᴜ ecstatic, really, and elated to be here this lovely morning. Fact that it's another weekend. Yippee! I mean, to take a break from the hustles and bustles of the week's numerous activities. And of course, thank God it's Friday, TGIF, with 7 days into the holy month of March. Shout out to all Muslim faithful, regardless, as well, keeping up with the fasting, and of course, Christian counterparts likewise towards Easter, you know. And yes, tomorrow is special. Why? Because it's International Women's Day, really celebrating the female gender in the face of the advocacy, against, gender inequality, gender based violence. And for those that keep holding and dragging us by the jugular of celebrating the female gender multiple times in a year, you people should be coming down. Okay, just be coming down. We are special and will always be special. Well, this year's theme is Accelerate Action. You will definitely be enjoying more of that later today, as you would be in the company of amazing and phenomenal ladies, beautiful ladies of the house at 10 a.m. You get more of that. But just quickly, we can make the celebration count, really, by celebrating a special woman in your life on our social media platforms. Possible you've been opportune to listen to our programs and you've heard about how you can celebrate a special woman in your life. You can just all you need to do is just follow us on our social media platforms, and then you send us a DM, all right, with the picture of the special woman, and probably maybe a couple of sentences to make her really feel so special. And definitely we'll do that by celebrating that special woman you want us to celebrate with you. So happy International Women's Day to every woman out there, phenomenal, and of course every ambitious, virtuous woman out there. That, of course, that's tomorrow. So welcome on board once again. Probably wonder what's going on or listening for the very first time. A warm welcome to the family of great and progressive minds. Trust me, Trends in the Papers is presently on the airwaves, ready to unleash us the hot trends and updates in our dailies this morning. So trust us with your morning, as you can always bank on us, as like Yoruba will call it oniduro. Don't worry, we're your backbone. You can definitely rely on us, especially in the morning or Morning Express. We've got loads of programs for you, especially taking you through the update and keeping you updated, keeping you abreast, and bringing you up to speed as regards what's happening and trending news encompassing all sectors, be it political, be it health, education, socio-economic, business, whatever it is. We're ready to definitely just bring you up to speed, just keep you updated while you're preparing for the day's activity. We'll take it upon ourselves to just keep you updated, so you won't have the stress to go through the newspapers. We'll do that for you this morning. So welcome on board once again on Trends in the Papers on Mail 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is Mᴏᴜ once again, and don't forget, you can definitely enjoy an audiovisual experience. You can join us live on Facebook and YouTube to see what's happening in the studio, and of course on Facebook and YouTube at Mail 98.3 FM. And also you can listen regardless of your location. You want to enjoy this, you can definitely, we've made that possible. There are provisions for that, so you can join us rather or on our website. You can join us on our website, www.mainlandfm.com. Yes, and you can also listen via Radio Garden. So we definitely have a profound and an interesting conversation once again. Of course, the last edition for the week, 7th day in the month of March 2025. So welcome aboard once again, and of course join us live on Facebook, join us live on YouTube to have this conversation together. We'll be joined also by Said Fuad this morning. As always, we're also giving more insight to the stories, just to give an analysis, profound one at start, different perspective and different sides to that. And at the course of the discourse, at the course of the program, you also get to share your thoughts, get to share your take and submission, your contribution, really your reservations on some of the major headlines and stories we have in our daily. So welcome aboard once again. My name is Mᴏᴜ and we'll be getting Fuad Said online to be joining us over the phone this morning just to give insight to the stories we have. Good morning, Fuad. Good morning, Fuad.
Good morning, Dupe. How are you doing?
Doing very well. How are you doing?
Good. Very good.
Very good. Okay, I like that. The fact that the adjective "very" is before good.
Very, very good.
Or you would like to share what the "very" is all about?
No, just I'm just good, very good. At least the Nigerian Senate has been giving us a lot of
menu. You're giving us menu. No menu. We have the appetizer. A lot to chew, sincerely, from the appetizer to the main course and even, a lot. Okay, so welcome on board once again. Don't forget to join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, on our website, www.mainlandfm.com, and also on Radio Garden. Anywhere you are, you can definitely be part of the conversation this beautiful morning. My name is Mᴏᴜ once again, and I'm joined by Said Fuad on the other side. We'll be giving analysis to the stories. So, of course, we'll be perusing the pages of the major newspapers this morning. The Vanguard, as always, the Punch newspaper, and also the Guardian newspaper. All right, we'll start with, of course, the main menu, which has actually been the big story in virtually all the newspapers this beautiful morning, of which the fallout of what happened in the Senate yesterday. Fuad, 6 months suspension. Natasha heads for court as NBA and others knock Senate. The Kogi Central Senator, Natasha Poti Uduaghan, will challenge in court the 6-month suspension slammed on her following a face-off with the Senate President Godswill Akpabio over certain arrangements in the Red Chamber. And of course, the legal counsel to the Kogi lawmaker Victor Giwa dismissed the Senate's resolution as a violation of a court order. Was speaking yesterday after the Kogi lawmaker was suspended by the Senate and walked out from the National Assembly complex. I really want to put everyone into the atmosphere of what really happened yesterday. Just take us through and see how it happened yesterday. So let's start with Fuad. You would you know that Natasha represented the petition yesterday at the plenary when the first petition was actually rejected due to procedural errors. All right, because saying that she should not be the one to sign and all of that. Okay, and this definitely is when she represented the petition in the House. Let's take a listen.
Malicious obstruction of Legislative Central under the name Suberu Azamari Yakubu. And the petition is against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuses of office, and malicious obstruction of legislative functions of distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan. So with your kind permission, may I please lay this petition? Because as you know, yesterday...
Is there any legal impediment?
On the subject matter, none, sir. None, sir.
Please proceed to lay the petition. Distinguished colleagues, Senator Natasha Akpoti Uduaghan has a petition from her constituents, and she has also further confirmed before all senators that the matter in issue is not in any court of law. I have no reason not to take her word for it, so accordingly, the petition is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 4 weeks.
All right, and of course, after that, we had the presentation of the recommendations from the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges, which was presented also by the chair of the Senate Committee. Let's just listen to just a couple of the recommendations in the sanctions, so to say.
Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition, having due deliberation of the matter as revealed by Senator Adeyemi Raphael Adaramodu, Senator Titus Tatenja Zam, Chamber staff, and the Sergeant at Arms, the committee recommends as follows. 1. That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan for 6 months for her total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Senate in general to public opprobrium. 2. That for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or to reduce the tenure of suspension, Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before the reconsideration by the Senate. 3. That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan with effect from 6 March 2025 from all legislative activities forthwith. 4. That her office be locked up for the duration of her suspension and hand over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. 5. That for the duration of her suspension, she cannot come or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including her staff. 6. That her salaries and allowances, including those of her legislative aides, be suspended and withdraw of all security details for the duration of her suspension. And 7. That for the period of her suspension, she be barred from representing herself to the public, locally and internationally, as the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Forward. The presentation, of course, and the sanctions, the prayers, so to say, by the committee were greeted with majority agreeing to the fact that yes, it should stand, with several amendments here and there. Some senators saying, okay, you should reduce the number of months. Some saying that, okay, don't allow our aides to also suffer the consequence and, protect the aides from suffering from what she had done and amongst others. But there is a particular thing that happened when the Senate President was announcing the pronouncement of the recommendations, so to say, in agreement to the senators. And I really want everyone to also listen to that as well and see, because several people have given sight to that, especially the prayer too, which is giving a room for apology. All right, so this is the Senate President's pronouncement. Please listen.
Prayer 1. That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to a public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. I put the question. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. How do you amend a prayer that is unanimous? Prayer 2, that for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or reducing the tenure of the suspension, Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before any reconsideration by the Nigerian Senate. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. I don't think Senator Abaribe, as a landlord of the Senate, I don't think they heard what I read. So let me just repeat for clarity that for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or reducing the tenure of the suspension, Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before the reconsideration by the Senate. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. Okay, because I thought I had 50-50. Let me make it 40-60. That for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or reducing the tenor of suspension, Senator Natasha Akpotiuduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before any reconsideration of this case by the Senate. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3.
Liberalism.
Prayer 3. That the Senate do suspend Senator Akpotiuduaghan with effect from 6th day of March 2025 from all legislative activities forward. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
This injustice will not be sustained. The pursuit for justice.
Forward, the injustice will not be sustained. All right, let's just take a pause with the soundbite right there. I'm sure you've been able to follow through how it went yesterday. Fuad, of course, our legal counsel had questioned the suspension, violating the court's order, restraining them from further actions regardless. But let's start from the recommendations first of all. Do you see the actions of the Senate as fair enough?
Before we even talk about being fair or not fair, this last soundbite you played, where the man that was being alleged, was sexually harassing another senator, is actually the one presiding over the matter. How does it make you feel?
Well,
because the man doing you say hi, say nay, the Senate president, is actually presiding over a petition against him. And can you see the mood, the atmosphere, the mannerism by which these senators were carrying themselves over a serious matter like sexual harassment? Lady Mo. Can't you feel the atmosphere? Look at how do I put it? Look at how watery. There are words that comes into my mind this morning, but because you're on radio, I can't use them.
Please don't.
Honestly, because it's a complete shame. And you could see that they don't really care. They don't give a damn about what we think. Our perception of them does not really bother them. It's almost like you can go to hell. We'll do what we'll do and nothing will happen. Because it was clear that at some point they were making a joke from such a very serious matter. And that was why you could see that he was taking the prayer one after, taking it again and over again. And you could see it. These are things that Nigerian breed.
Yeah, well, the Senate president actually jokes a lot. I mean,
no, he has the right to joke, but talking serious matters like this. We talked of issues of nation building. He jokes about it. Now we are talking about a fellow senator accusing him of sexual harassment. A married female senator, for that matter, even if she's not married. And then this is what you have. Look, what does it? Again, I've seen some of the senators who appear very progressive, who pretend to be progressive, who pretend that, look, they are progressive politicians. And some of them also come more to defend some of these ridiculous things that we see. And I just shake my head. Some of them I will not mention their name today, but there will be incidents that will make them come out and people to identify them for what they are, even though they are still pretending now. I'm sure people know the people I'm talking about. Who will be there? They've always pretended to be progressive in their thinking and orientation. And what you see just shocks you.
Fuad, let's talk about...
The first petition, you had said that the first petition was dead on arrival.
Right.
Because the order of the Senate, the order of the Senate does not allow a petitioner to sign the petition. Right?
Yeah, right.
Even though some of the things in the so-called book, the rule of the Senate, appears ridiculous to me. I don't know the people that put those rules together. Because why would the petitioner not be able to sign his or her own petition to start with? But if that was the rule of the
that's the rule. Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm just affirming the fact that that's the house rule.
Okay, now if that is
but the question that have been raised is she should have read the house rule to understand that she shouldn't have signed it. It's a case of you be able to get familiar, intimated with the rules of the house that you are in.
Okay, now if she broke the rules by signing the petition, now she has got another petition. Should that invalidate the second petition? Especially on a very serious matter, like sexual harassment. Yesterday I talked about the fact that, look, I'd expected that at a level should have been very familiar with the house rules, the rules of the Senate. And that's why she has aid. She has legal aid, she has administrative aid, she has public relations aid, and all of those kinds of people who should have been able to guide her what the standing rules are. But if she had even violated the rules, she had brought a second petition. Here we are talking about the issue of sexual harassment. We are talking about the rights of women and girls. We are talking about not encouraging victim blaming, the culture of silence in the face of sexual harassment and violence. That's what we are talking about here. A serious matter like that. And then you had the Senate president presiding over his own matter, a matter of petition against himself. And look at the casual, the unseriousness that tended to the matter, that the way they carry themselves on that particular matter. Now, these are the issues for me. I'm not surprised that, look, it's not went the way it went yesterday.
Well, Fuad.
Yes.
I want us to get things clear here. This sanction or the suspension is not over the allegation. Is over misconduct and disobedience. Misconduct and
disobedience over what?
The rule, the house rule. That was what the committee had to suspend her for, not the harassment necessarily.
They're not even taking that at all. They have not dealt with that matter.
They have not. Exactly. She just represented the petition, and of course the Senate president had said, okay, we'll forward it to the Committee of Ethics and they'll give you report on that.
The Senate was not even ready to attend to the issue of sexual harassment. Didn't you see what the deputy chief was saying on TV? That a woman that has 6 children for 6 different men should never complain about sexual harassment. Can't you see that work kind of orientation and thinking? So people will call our senators. So if it is the way they think, do you know why we're not making any meaningful progress in Nigeria? If these are our senators and the way they behave and carry themselves and think. Like I said, a lot of them, some of them I might not be shocked really, or taking some of the positions they took on this matter. But some of them, I was watching out to see how they were going to react. And believe you me, Lydimo, I was shocked. Like I said, I'm not going to mention some of the news and the things they are done for now. But again, what we are saying is that this was a Senate that was not even ready to tolerate any petition. They were not even ready to discuss the matter. They were so quick to say, look, this was a petition that was heard on arrival on the grounds of technicality. A serious matter like sexual harassment. What was wrong in the Senate president, for example, stepping aside for this matter to be thoroughly and properly investigated? At least momentarily step aside, let your deputy Senate president take care of proceeding until the matter is resolved. So that there's clarity and it is proven on any reasonable doubt that, look, the president has issued a statement to say, look, I have never harassed any woman. Even though there have been cases of women in the past who have accused him of sexual harassment. So what is the best? They could have been thorough by allowing the petition to fly. And again, the House Committee had already taken a position. It was clear. It was, and for people who think that, when we talk about politicians and the fact that they are the same thing, and people come here talking about political parties. Oh, he belongs to Labour Party, he belongs to PDP, he belongs to APC. The chairman of that Committee on Ethics and Privileges is a Labour Party member. The committee that recommended this 6-month suspension, her office should be locked. Before she can come back, she must write a letter of apology. And she must not parade herself before the media as a senator again. Just imagine, Lydimo. against a fellow senator because he had raised 38 issues of sexual harassment against the Senate president that you will never allow to fly. And so she must be punished in that way. Again, we are talking about the culture of silence and victim blaming when it comes to sexual harassment and sexual violence. That's what we are promoting in our Senate with that decision. I'm also surprised that at a period where women are calling for gender equality, gender inclusion, out of 109 senators, we have only 4 female senators. And one of them is already being treated this way. And we're not even surprised that the 3 other female senators were also even speaking against her. But again, what we are saying is this. I'm also shocked that the House, like the lawyer of Senator Natasha is saying, has also gone against a court order that stopped them from even discussing, taking any further action on her, on this same matter, investigating her and taking any punitive measure against her. And then on the 6-month suspension, we've had several cases in the past where the courts have ruled that it is wrong for the Senate to punish a senator by suspending the senator. In the case of Mᴏᴜ, Senator Mᴏᴜ from Delta State, when he was suspended, the court ruled that the suspension was illegal and in fact the suspension cannot be more than 14 days. In the case of Senator Ali Ndume from Borno State, the court also ruled.
And also
Yes. For the senator to because you are not just punishing the senator, you are punishing the constituent. So what you get, the Senate is telling us that for 6 months now, the people of Kogi Central will not be represented in Nigerian Senate. Oh, because their senator says he was sexually harassed. And so she must be punished because the culture of silence we want to promote in our Senate. The culture of victim blaming, double jeopardy for our women, we want to promote in our Senate. That's what they are promoting, they don't know. And for every woman that has been sexually violated, that is always the fear. If I come out to talk about these things, what would they do? Will the society believe me? Will they hear me?
Well,
and that is what the Senate has now promoted with this decision.
Well, Fuad, we'll definitely see if the petition will be pursued. Of course, Natasha has said that she's going to court. Yeah, she's going to court.
And I'm sure that this suspension will not stand.
Now,
since this rally, what they did basically was to shut her up. You could see the casual manner, in which they attended to the issue. Look at the casual manner in which they approached the matter. There was a mindset already. And I listened to Senator Bamidele Okoyemi, who was saying the DSS should go and investigate a phone call with the woman, and she has called her that what would you gain if the Senate president goes down? I think Senator Okoyemi must know that in itself, that call was trying to interfere with the investigation on that matter. What was the call for in the first place? If he was sure, or in his mind, he had believed the Senate president was innocent, why made the call and asking woman, what will you gain if the Senate president goes down? And the woman had the right to interpret that call as a threat. If you call somebody who has written a petition against someone, and you are now calling the person to say, what would you gain if the person goes down? It's a shocking threat if he does not know. I'm talking to Senator Okoyemi now. Okay, if I call you to say, why do you want to see the person go down? What am I doing? Is that not a subtle threat? Are we not communicators here?
Well, Fuad, there are several sides to this. Even according to the consultant of communication and strategy to the Senate president, during an interview on television, he was talking about the fact that there is a bottle up anger due to the fact that she was removed as the chair of a committee on local content and all of that, and that is just about grievances.
Look, people, wait. What are we saying here? People can give different reasons for why they think she's bitter, right?
Right.
You've seen a former senator coming on TV to say, once you become a senator, you can no longer be talking about sexual harassment. Right? I even read in the papers too. Even the first lady, her position, I'm sorry.
Yes, the first lady.
Her position it looks somehow to me, for want of a better word.
She said the Senate is meant for matured minds, and
So the Senator Natasha not matured because she has complained. So the maturity is that when you are sexually harassed, you not complain. Or the maturity is that when you accuse somebody or a fellow senator or the fellow president of sexual harassment and they don't allow the petition to fly and you complain, so it means you are not matured. Then you can see the problem. When we keep talking about the thinking pattern of the people leading this country.
Fuad, what really is the implication of this 6 months? Because according to the prayer too, when the Senate president, talked about reconsidering the recommendations by presenting an apology letter to the Senate for misconduct and all of that, going against the rule of the House, and though even majority said disagreed that they don't want to, but the Senate president still, gave it to the ones that say yay and all of that.
I will not pay attention to that nonsense that was happening. It was just a complete show of shame, and without apologies. If they don't know, look, some of us are ashamed for them if they are not ashamed of some of the things they are doing. Because again, we are talking about the integrity and the sanctity of the Nigerian Senate. The world is watching. The world will be looking at us and say, oh, the fellow senator that accused the Senate president of this country of sexual harassment. And look at the way they are handling it. Joking about it, fussing around basically about it. It doesn't really matter. The world is watching.
All right.
And that's why, we say the Committee of Nations, some of us, the reasons why they don't really respect us is the way we handle some of these matters. We think it's a simple thing, but it matters. It's the Committee of Nations.
All right.
So whatever the whole drama they were doing does not really matter to me. The fact is that, look, I've been issued, this guy had made up their mind that this was not going to fight. And what they have done is to bully the woman to submission. She has said she's going to continue to fight. We wish her the best as she continues to fight this matter. But what I am saying is that what we have seen of the Nigerian Senate is completely irresponsible, condemnable, and should never be encouraged if we really want to protect the integrity and sanctity of that Senate.
Well, Fuad, of course, as regards Senator Natasha pursuing legal redress, even movement I've started. I stand with Senator Natasha, and let's just see how it unfolds. Let's see how it goes. But I really wish that implication, because especially when it has to do with depriving the constituency, the people, in our constituency, in witnessing what is going on in national, and of course representing them firsthand. But the Punch newspaper has 6-month suspension. Natasha heads for court as NBA, others knock Senate. That on page 2. And right on the front page of The Guardian as well, we have our 10th Assembly pro-people legislation shadowed by House drama and intrigues. A big story, pages 4 and 5 captures that very story. Let's just stay with, because we have to move fast to be able to accommodate more stories and headlines. The Punch captures the marketers' worry as 5-month fuel imports hit 6 trillion naira. Despite improved domestic refining capacity in Nigeria, actually, major oil marketers have continued to import refined petroleum products, as they imported 6.38 billion liters of premium motor spirit, that's petrol, and automotive gas oil, diesel, in 5 months. But independent marketers and retailers, through their various associations, had, locked against the development, as the importation of these commodities gulped about 6 trillion naira, a development that further piled pressure on the country's forex. And the question to be asked is, when do we stop importation? We have been talking about the revival of or productivity level of our refineries, Port Harcourt Refinery and Port Harcourt Refinery and Warri Refinery and all of that. Fuad, when are we going to stop importation of fuel and get local?
That's the ultimate question. Because it looks like the regulators and even the government is not committed to ensuring that we put an end to this aberration, to this continuous importation of petroleum products into the country. They claim that it's for energy security, to fight monopoly. While we agree that, look, we have to create structures, we have to create situations where we don't get vulnerable when it comes to our energy security, and also not encourage some form of monopoly in any kind. We also have to ensure that, look, competition should be properly done. Domestic should compete with domestic.
Right.
when it comes to production. So I don't know why the marketers are worried. They are complaining. Again, we've seen the Dangote refinery coming up with what I call it the guerrilla marketing strategy, to beat them to their game, basically. And they are still pushing money to continue to import this product into the country. Again, putting unnecessary pressure on forex. Because they are not going to be importing these products into the country with Naira. They are going to be using forex.
Of course.
So now that we have the capacity to produce what we consume locally, what we take locally, Dangote is saying it's already doing about over 50 million liters per day. The NMPC has been silent. And it's a devilish silence. It's a ridiculous silence. We keep saying it. You told us that Port Harcourt is working, Warri is working. We've been asking questions. What is happening in those two facilities? How many liters of petroleum products are you producing in a day? Up till now, no detail. No information. The only thing we are hearing is that, we are still importing. We are even issuing more licenses to people to bring in the product. So you can see when people say that, look, some of these things are just mere lies and propaganda.
Exactly.
A very simple question: can the NNPC tell us what is going on at Port Harcourt? And they took the media guys there. Can they take them there again and give us details of what they have been able to produce in the last 2 or 3 months since they told us these refineries are working?
Especially with the narrative from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority saying that Nigeria currently has a combined domestic refining capacity of 985,000 barrels per day, which a figure which is enough to meet daily consumption of 50 million liters per day.
And even
surpass. So, all right.
It's one thing to say you have installed capacity. It's another thing to now be using the capacity optimally. You don't understand? Because
Right.
they can tell us that the entire installed capacity we have now can take us over 100 million liters per day. The question is that, are we operating to that capacity? Are we now refining to that capacity? It's another question.
All right.
And they should also talk about themselves. Dangote keeps giving us updates. Have you noticed that deliberately the Dangote refinery gives us almost like a weekly update of their activity?
Right.
So we've been able to push production to this level. We've been able to push production again to this level. Can we get the same updates from the NNPC on Port Harcourt and Warri refinery? Daily update or weekly update? So we've been able to push this capacity. The last thing they told us is that Port Harcourt was doing 70%. Warri, I don't know what they said. We don't have any other information again.
Well,
what is going on in those two refineries?
Well, the issue of transparency has always been on the front burner, talking about how the government commission.
The PRO will come and check in the whole country because you're asking questions.
All right, Fuad. Marketers worry as 5-month fuel imports. That's on page 81 in the Punch newspaper. Let's quickly move away from that as well. We have from the Guardian newspaper. Quickly, it's still trends in the papers on Mail 98.3 FM, The Sound of Lagos. In case you're wondering what is happening, we are perusing the pages of our newspapers at Dailies this morning just to check through the trends and, of course, updates happening. What is happening really in our newspapers this morning? And of course, you can join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Mela 98.3 FM. Fuad, let's go to Rivers State. Militants threaten oil installation attacks in Rivers over evacuation. Now, a militant group, Niger Delta Rescue Movement, had threatened to attack oil installations in the Niger Delta region over the seizure of the allocation due to Rivers State. Of course, the group called on all non-indigents living in the state to live in their interests and safety, pointing out that hostilities are about to begin. Actually, when I saw the video and I heard the content of the video, okay, let me just play a bit of.
No, we can't play that. We can't play that. That's
okay, it's because I heard.
It's only fit for social media.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I can't even. I heard the content of the video and it's quite disturbing, very disturbing. And you asked the question, of course, in response to that threat, the police also from Rivers Crisis Police had vowed to crush the militants threatening the oil production. The Rivers State Police Command vowed to crack down on any threat to national security, insisting that no group has the monopoly of violence, while others are also calling on the presidency to intervene and to wade into the crisis. What's the way forward?
You see that we are now in this mess.
I will not see what we had in Osun State.
Osun State is even, for me, Osun State is even better. If you know the kind of destruction that can happen in Niger Delta if these guys decide to start this problem. I'm telling you, Osun State will be a joke. We've gone through this path before the late President Umaru Musa came in with the amnesty program that took these boys away from the creeks. And look, yes, our security operatives should stand firm and condemn and warn any troublemaker in the land. But we have to tell ourselves the truth. We've had trouble in different parts of the country that security operatives have been overstretched because of this needless crisis that we created, maybe as a political misadventure or some mistakes in the past. For example, Boko Haram. A lot of people have forgotten so soon how Boko Haram started. You know, the leader of the group was arrested, the military handed him over to the police, he was killed, and then suddenly we are still dealing with that issue till today. The problem we had in the Niger Delta, we knew what we suffered when the boys started attacking our oil installation. And until the amnesty program was methodically implemented, we had no peace. We are still grappling, as I speak to you, with the problem of attack on oil installation in the Niger Delta. We've not been able to completely resolve the issue, if you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
So again, that is why when we keep appealing, begging our politicians to behave themselves, because look, we can, even the police knows that, look, when it comes to capacity, it would have been better for us to avoid this trouble. I'm not saying they don't have what it takes to continue to go after troublemakers and all of that. But wouldn't it be better that we avoid this situation? The military is overstretched. There are different campaigns in different parts of the country to ensure peace and security of the people. We are going to start another one in Niger Delta because politicians are just going to refuse to behave themselves. So again, it's just an appeal. People can come with all manner of interpretations now to say this or that, and they should respect this. No, the fact is that on this reverse matter, the politicians have not behaved well. And the judiciary too has a lot of questions to answer. I'm sorry, that's just what it is.
All right. That from the Punch, just quickly because of our time. Page 2 has that on the from the Punch newspaper, and also from the Guardian. You have that very story on page 9 in the Guardian newspaper. Fuad, representatives move to strip INEC of power to regulate and register political parties. The House of Representatives, from the Guardian, has initiated moves to strip the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) of its powers to regulate and register political parties in Nigeria. A bill seeking to establish an independent authority for the registration, regulation, and funding of the political parties in Nigeria passed the second reading at the floor of the House on Thursday. And of course, the bill was co-sponsored by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and Edo lawmaker Marcus Onobum, seeking to remove political parties registration and regulation from INEC. How effective is this, Fuad?
I don't know. I don't know what these guys are thinking about. I'm sorry, with all due respect.
Because the question is, who are going to be officials of the agency, or whichever it is?
It's not even about agency or no agency now. I don't know how INEC not being in charge of registering political parties is the biggest problem we have in the electoral system. I don't know why that is so important for them, that INEC not being in charge of registering political parties and being in charge of their affairs is, in their minds, the most important aspect of making our electoral process better. I think there are more serious issues when it comes to our electoral process than what I consider very irrelevant things. And the last time we discussed it, I've told them, if this House and this 10th Assembly wants to show so much seriousness in getting our electoral process better going forward, they should please go and dust off the Muhammadu Ways Committee report. There are enough recommendations they can pursue there to make the electoral system better. This one for me is just a complete waste of time. It's irrelevant. My own opinion, honest opinion, really.
All right. Let's move away from that. Of course, to trends in the papers on Mail and 98.3 FM. The Sound of Lagos. Join us on Facebook and YouTube. Fuad, Yaya Bello from Punch paid $845,852 for young children's future enrollment. That's from Witness of American.
Because they have not gone to school.
An official of
the ones that have gone, he paid fully till when they will leave school. Then the one he paid again were for children that has not yet been
Enrolled, right.
Paying in advance before they even got into the school. Allegedly. You know, allegedly is the buzzword now.
Oh, allegedly. Allegedly, of course. Fuad, you know, in the face of, because relating it with this as well, in the face of EFCC grilling ex-minister Uju Kennedy over alleged 138 million fraud, you know, the questions have always... You said? Billion.
Yes,
of course, this is billion rather, and of course this is just, you know, one out of many allegations that, especially from ex-minister, ex-governors, and, you know, official public political officials and all of that.
You know, Lady Mo, where are we on better edu scheme? The EFCC is grilling Uju Kennedy, the former Minister of Women Affairs. I'm even surprised that she has, a case of 130-something billion hanging around her neck. You know, they talked about procurement fraud, the fact that some of these monies were meant for some projects.
Yeah, and diversion of public funds.
Diversion. So allegedly, she has a right to defend herself. The EFCC is still
investigating.
We'll wait to see whether she's going to have a day in court, because this is more like an interrogation for now, like, you know, the questioning. But the one that was well established, to the point where the minister has now been removed, where are we on better edu? Or are we swept it under the carpet just like that? Or she has no case to answer again? We've moved on just like that.
You can relate that to the antecedents of, you know, allegations.
Again,
right.
You know, if you follow that story, the school has sent people to testify in court. There's been a lot of testimonies as to how, you know, some of these things have happened. I think some of the monies have even been recovered by the EFCC. I think it just indicates, it just shows to us that, again, we have a lot of loopholes in our system. You know, like somebody was telling me yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, that look, the level of corruption is, it was surprising we were having that conversation. That the stealing going on in this country at different levels is the more. The fact that the country is still standing, we need to continue to be thankful to God. And when we say stealing, for public servants, civil servants, politicians at different levels, in the private sector, it's amazing, shocking to know that the country is still standing.
In billions, trillions.
Billions, monies that are moving into private pockets, private, you know, and that's why you see that despite one of the blessings of God in terms of the resources, the monies we say we are generating, nothing gets done, really. We are not even able to put up any functional society. When I say functional, proper functional society in any part of the country.
All right, Fuad, our time is fast spent. We'll quickly step aside because we have to pay some bills. But don't just rule this out. And Fuad, before you go, I also want just a statement or word for all women in commemoration of International Women's Day. Don't forget home when you japa. NIDCOM tells migrants. You know, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, had called on Nigerians migrating abroad not to forget their roots, urging them to contribute positively to the development of their home country while abroad. A word for, do you support this as well? Do you have word for those that japa
No,
and not to forget
Abike,
and not to forget their roots?
No, Madam Abike Dabiri, I think she was at an Islamic event.
Right.
And the topic was around Japa. I can't remember the topic now. That was where she was saying that, people can Japa. That even the Holy Prophet migrated. That there's no problem in migration. There's nothing wrong with migration.
The thing was
also migrated from Mecca to Medina for better life. But I think that, look, one of the things she failed to mention is that this Japa we have now, this migration is a forced migration. And like the Holy Prophet left Mecca to Medina because he was being persecuted. Before he now came back, waged a war against them, and then eventually returned to his homeland.
All right.
So he needed to, Mr. Malika needs to also let the people know that, look, the government is persecuting people. That's why Nigerians are running out of the country as if we're in a war situation. The situation at home is not palatable. So before she talks about them remembering home, can the people at home also put things in order so that these guys can also be so motivated to come back home?
All right,
So
Fuad.
the jackpot, because the people here who have made things so soft for them should also fix the problem.
Fuad, we have to go. We have to go.
And to our women, happy International Women's Day.
That's
God bless
all.
all the women.
Amen. Amen. What will you do for us?
I pray for you. You will pray for our women.
All right, thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. To get you back on Mail and Focus, right, on Mail and 98.3 FM. Please stay with us.